We're going to be making a really nice and quick to cook vegetarian curry. Now the beauty of this curry is it only takes about 10 minutes to cook. Now first of all I'm going to run you through some of the ingredients we're going to use. Now we've got 1 level tablespoon of each of these. Garam masala, ginger powder, and you've got cumin powder. Now we're also going to add 1 level teaspoon of paprika powder and also half a teaspoon ground turmeric and chili powder. Now with the chili powder, obviously do that to taste. We're also going to add some fennel seeds, about 10 or 20 of those, half a stick of cinnamon, then we've got some cardamom pods which I'm going to break those open so the seeds come out, and just a couple of little cloves there as well. And we're going to put these ones in hot water to get some of the flavours out. And just at the end we're going to add some of these. This is ginger stem they call it, or stem ginger, and that kind of dissolves just at the end when you're making the final stages of the curry. It really adds a nice extra to it. Now vegetable wise, I've got a cauliflower here. This is kind of a small to medium, so I'm going to use all of that, but if you had a big one I'd say cut it in half. We're going to use a green pepper, and I'm going to chop that into sort of chunks. I'm going to use a turnip. Then we've got some peas. These are frozen peas, hummus. I mean, you can use the sort of low fat one for this. I'm going to use half of this tub, so 1 small tub or half of the sort of this size. Then I'm going to use some tomato puree and some garlic puree, and also we're going to use some coriander as well. I've got a little bit of lemon there. I'm just going to use a bit of the juice out of the lemon. So I think I've covered all the ingredients. Now we're going to get on with the cooking. Just before we start the cooking, first of all, we're going to put in the cinnamon stick. We've got the fennel seeds, the 2 cloves, and we've got the cardamom seeds, which you can see I've broken them and you've got the seeds come out. So put those all in there, and then what we're going to do is pour some boiling water from the kettle in there. This is just to kind of release the flavours and soften them up. Okay, we're going to get on with the cooking. Just take the lid off this. Now I'm using one of these cast iron pots, like a casserole pot, stewing pot, but you can use a wok as well. So we've got some boiling water. The sort of temperature's on a sort of medium heat. Now the first thing, I've got the actual turnips. I mean, there's 1 turnip there. It's sort of medium size and it's chopped up and obviously peeled. Now what we're going to do is we're going to actually boil that for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to pop the lid on and boil that for 5 minutes, and then next to go in is going to be the cauliflower, because a lot of these vegetables take different amounts of time to cook, and I think the turnips take slightly longer. So 5 minutes for the turnips. Okay, we've been cooking for 5 minutes. Next to go in is the cauliflower. Now I've chopped that up into like florets. Cook the cauliflower for at least 3 minutes, and again make sure the temperature's on medium, or that it's steaming in there, because we don't want undercooked vegetables. Okay, we've been cooking for about 8 minutes now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chopped up peppers. Just cook those for a minute, and then after that, for the last minute, we're going to put in the peas. Okay, we're on the last minute of cooking, so we've been cooking for about 9 minutes. I'm just going to pour those frozen peas in there and cook that really for about 1 minute more. I'm going to give it a quick stir first though. Give that a stir. Now if you feel the vegetables are not quite cooked enough for yourself, then obviously just cook it a little bit longer, but this is how I like to do them. So I'm going to pop the lid back on there and just cook that for the final minute. Okay, we've been cooking for about 10 minutes. Now when you boil the actual vegetables, it doesn't matter how much water you got in there, because you can always drain some away. What we're looking to do is to push the vegetables to one side, and we're looking to have about 1 cupful of water left, and that's where we're going to put the spices. So have a look at how much water you've got and try and remove if you've got too much. So as you can see, I've removed some of the water from mine, and this is what we've got left. Right, I've got all the vegetables moved to one side, so we've got an area there of water, and that's where we're going to add all the ingredients into it. So first of all, I'm going to add the garam masala, the cumin and the ginger powder. Next again, we've got the paprika, chili powder and the ground turmeric. So pop those in there. Next I'm going to put the hummus in. Now I would say about 1 small tub, as I said, or if you've got a bigger tub, just use less. So I'll say about that much. You can always add a bit more to thicken it up if you need to. Now I'm going to add the tomato puree. Now I'm actually going to use about half a tube of that, so quite a good amount of this really. Now we're going to add some garlic puree. I'm going to add about 1/4 of a tube of that. And the next thing we've got to go in is, we made these sort of spices up in the hot water earlier with the cardamom pods and the cloves, and there's about 1/2 cupful of water in there, so just pour those all in there. Try and get the little bits out, because that's a really nice intense flavour. It smells great. Now at this stage you're probably thinking, this doesn't look like a curry, but what we're going to do is mix it all up now, and you watch what happens. And before I stir it, I'm just going to take that cinnamon stick out, because I think this one is actually going to break up, and I'm going to just mix this up, and it's going to really turn into a lovely sort of curry. Probably just take like a minute to mix this up. Now I've been stirring mine for sort of a minute or two, and we've got all those flavours over, got all the vegetables. I mean, it's going to be really delicious at the end. You can always add a little bit of water if you need to, but I think we're about right actually. I've just put my mixture on a low heat, and you can see it's a nice orangey colour. That's what we're looking for. So we're just going to cook that for 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to add the final ingredients into there. Next thing I'm going to put in is going to be some coriander. Now this is actually the stalks of the coriander. I've separated the stalks and the leaves, so pop those in. And also I've got the stem ginger, so we'll give that a quick stir. So I've finished cooking mine, and really this is ready to serve up. You can, you know, have it with pita bread, or you can have it with rice, whatever you like really. It's delicious. I'm just going to serve a little bit of that up. Obviously, you know, if you want a bit of rice, I've got a separate video for doing rice. Really simple way of doing it. Give it a little squirt of lemon. It's great. And you can put a bit of coriander on there. I mean, I separated the coriander, the stalks, with the leaves. I'm just going to try some of that. Looks really nice. Let's try that. I love coriander. Ah, looks delicious. That's really nice. I mean, it's a vegetarian curry, but that's really delicious. Really simple to do. A little bit of preparation time, but you can taste all the spices we put in. You can taste a little bits of fennel and that little bit of, you know, the ginger cubes that we put in, the stem ginger. Get a little flavour of that. It's beautiful. Enjoy.